But first, I have to say welcome, welcome to Building Resilience Summit Act Four. My gosh, Act Four, y'all. Can you imagine this? This one is dubbed Harmony Within Mental Wellness, and it's pretty critical around the holiday season about to have this mental health awareness. But I think that it's important to have it all the time, right? And we experienced something very recently why it's important for this mental health awareness. I was reading about why we're here today. Our focus is on managing stress, navigating challenges, fostering positive thoughts, and cultivating emotional resilience. In our eyes, that's a holistic approach to mental well being. This event aims to provide a platform for collective exploration, sharing experiences, and inspiring each other on the journey towards harmony within mental wellness. Now, today I'm blessed to have three beautiful ladies speaker. Oh my God, speakers! Yes, yes, yes. We got Kelda Music, the diva. We got Andrea Gaines, First Lady of RCA, and we got Denise Coleman, RCA Project Director and Mentor. Well, I think we should get right into it. And let me just introduce the first person. Her name is Kelda Music, but we call her Diva. Why? She's gonna explain why we call her that. But I'm gonna read a little bio about her, and then we get into it. So Miss Kelda Williams, Kelda Music, born Kelda Williams on April 4th, 1983, also known by her stage name Kelda Music, aka Diva, is an American artist, singer, songwriter, producer, TV host, writer, actress, and entrepreneur. Born in the Bay Area, known for her hit singles Queen for a Night and Thirsty, which are both on her fourth studio album. Diva TV 2010 has toured internationally with R&B singer Lloyd, Kid Ink, and Ja Cure. Songs from her four albums have featured on MTV's Real World and Oxygen Channel's Bad Girls Club. Diva extracts her entrepreneurial skills with TAMS, the world's flyest beret, and she explained that. Additionally, as a passionate communicator, Kelda Music launched her podcast, Diva Talk Podcast, on iHeartRadio. Through this platform, she engages with listeners, sharing her insights, experiences, and conversations with industry professionals. Now, I just want to say a quick little short story about Kelda Music, where I seen Kelda Music. Yeah, for some of us brothers who done some time before, there's a thing called coffee TV. Yeah, so TV, I seen Kelda Music as a TV. Uh, she had her own TV show. So maybe 15 years ago, I had no idea that I was going to meet this person in this woman in person, and she'll be a normal person, right? Y'all know we got coffee TV, late night, can't sleep, turning the channels, pick on the sister with her own talk show. And now we have her on our platform. So I'd like to welcome you to Miss Kelda Music. Welcome, sister. I remember, I don't know who heard, but I remember she says my grades wasn't as they weren't lining up with my coolness. You know, I pay attention. You was a cool girl in school, but your grades wasn't lining up. I think this is an important message for all of our young people and our old people.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yes,
sister.
definitely. So, yeah, uh, I was pretty talented, pretty funny, and my teacher, Mr. Carberry, wanted to see me make it. And again, he entered me into this talent competition, and he was so upset with me because my grades were failing. And I remember he yelled at me, and he was just like, "God damn it! I have high hopes for you, and this is what you do to yourself." Uh, so, um, so yeah, while the talent competition was going on, and after that, the kids had recess. What was I doing? Mr. Carberry had me in class writing 100 sentences saying, "I will do my homework every day. I will do my homework every day." And oh my gosh, it was just a headache even having to do that, like at 6 or 7 years old, however old I was. But after second grade, moved on to third grade. Third grade got even worse. We had these little folders that we would have to bring up to our teacher every day, and whether the homework was correct or not, it was about, did you do your homework? So all the kids are bringing up their folders, and the teacher, she's putting complete, 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 complete. With mine, she was like incomplete, 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 and she got so used to it that she didn't even call me up for my folder after a while. It was just like, okay, well, we already know Kelda didn't do her homework. I was worried about, again, going outside, having fun with friends, waiting till the street lights come on, then coming in the house, eating pizza, watching cartoons, and going to bed and going through the next thing again, all over again the next day. So it started getting worse and worse to where when I entered middle school, I was obviously a bit older to where, I'm learning how to wear makeup and following the certain trends and, dressing differently. And that was when my family and I relocated to Modesto for a couple of years. My dad got a job out there. My mom transferred her job out there. And I went to Salida Middle School, which was predominantly all Hispanics. Um, it was in the town Salida, which is um, majority all Hispanics. So once again, it's just like me and maybe a couple other Black people at that school. So sixth grade, sixth through eighth grade was really difficult for me. Very, very difficult. Just to give you a little bit of background on my parents, my dad worked for the city, my mom worked for Kaiser. Both of them worked for their jobs for about 30 years or more. And they were always busy, busy working overtime. They were more concerned about not being a stereotype, right? Not living off the government and food stamps and welfare or anything like that. So my parents were always working, working, working. They were even like competing against each other on who worked more OT this week. Like OT was a very heavy term used in my household. You didn't work OT this week. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. And then my dad would be like, I worked 20 hours OT. My mom would be like, well, I did 15. But they were just worried about making sure that we had a decent house, nice cars, and clothes on our back, food on our table, and all that other stuff, right? Um, and so it was just um, almost to the point where they were working so much that we relied on the education system for myself, right? As far as making sure I get a good education. But the thing what a lot of parents have to understand is you have to be there for your child during those times when it comes to doing homework, studying, um, learning new skills, learning new courses, whatever the case may be. And I think that's kind of what wasn't there when I was a kid. So I'm at Salida Middle School, and everything was going all right at first, but I was getting D's and F's. But yet I was worried about what lip liner I was wearing, what eyeliner, what kind of baggy pants I'm wearing today, to look cool with my friends. And it was always a popular thing in a good way if you got suspended, detention, Saturday school, tardy, whatever the case may be. And I went through the same cycle from, again, not doing my homework. If I did do it, it'd be some of it. And if I did some of it, it would be all wrong. Right. So My teacher, Mr. Price, and I had another advisement teacher. I remember they would purposely they would make me pull a card. And then every time I was tardiness, which was not at fault of mine, it was the bus was always late. I would always get a tardy slip. From there, that turned into referrals. Referrals turned into detentions. Detentions turned into Saturday school. Saturday school turned into half day suspension. Half day suspension turned into 1 day suspension, 2 day suspension, 3 day suspension, 4 day. Now it's the whole week. And this is all over either being late to class or not doing my homework. Now, the other kids, I didn't quite see them always getting referrals to the teacher, I mean, to the principal if they didn't do their homework. It seemed like I was the only one, but I was the one who really didn't care about my homework either or doing anything, just worried about hanging out with friends and going home and watching MTV's TRL every day. Um, so 6th grade is when I got suspended for the first time for 2 days. And it was for not doing my homework for 3 days. So that was the first time I got suspended. Um, 7th grade, that's where things got real because 8th grade, you're graduating, you're getting ready to go to high school. So, you got to get your stuff together. 7th grade, just wasn't worried about it. Still was not worried about it. Um, I remember I got Saturday school and my parents made me walk home. And Salida from Modesto is not far driving distance, but when walking, yeah, it's a lot because you gotta hike over an overpass and go past the freeway. It was bad. So that happened in 7th grade. And I remember my dad would have long talks with me. He said, you know what? Giving you whoopings and punishing you is just not going to work anymore. It's only going to make you do worse because now, you're becoming rebellious towards your parents and towards your teachers. So I remember my dad would have talks with me, and some of it would stick in my head, and then some of it wouldn't. Some of it was still just like, I'm under 18. I don't care. I'm going to be successful when I get older, and, I don't care what anyone says. And I remember towards the ending of 7th grade, I got suspended for 4 days. I got suspended the last week of 7th grade for not doing my homework and also getting into a physical altercation with this other kid who was a male. Uh, I don't know what we were fighting over, but I remember he spit on me and I spit on him back. And when the teacher turned around, the only part she saw was me spitting on him. And when we both got referrals to the office, they suspended me for 4 days and only suspended him for 1 day. And he was a more troubled kid than I was. So, but of course, they're going to take his side. I'm just, the little black girl in class. And according to their records, she has a history of, doing terrible in school and not, paying attention and getting detentions and stuff. So yeah, let her go. Let her go. So I remember I came home. Well, no, I remember I was in the principal's office, and my mom, at the time, she was working at Kaiser in Stockton, which was about 30 minutes away from Modesto. So imagine you have to leave your job to come to your child's school, not for an emergency because your child got hurt or sick. No, you have to pick your child up because she is being suspended for the next 4 days. So she was pissed. And I remember when I was in the office, it was this other girl, Shanicia, that was a little bad girl too. And I remember my mom didn't like her. And so when my mom came into the office in front of the secretary and everybody, my mom's like, she whispered, "You are going to get when you get home." And I remember I was just like, oh my God. Like I felt like jumping out of the car window when she was driving me home. It was just like, well, if I kill myself right now by jumping out of this car window, I won't have to worry about this for the rest of my life because I'm just not going to get it in school and I don't care to get it in school. And no one else seems to care. All they keep doing is punishing me. No one is helping me. No one is trying to nurture me or, help me get to where I need to be. So again, that was the last week of seventh grade, so I didn't get to enjoy that. I was suspended for 4 days and had to go to summer school. Every year of being in middle school and high school, I always had to go to summer school because my grades were terrible. So I entered eighth grade, and this is where things got really real. Eighth grade, I did not graduate. I did not graduate on time. I didn't get to walk across the stage with the other kids, with my fellow classmates. I didn't get to participate in all the eighth grade graduation festivities, such as, going to Great America, Santa Cruz, um, the eighth grade dance, or, being able to have some days off. You know, um, I had to be in class every day. I had to skip lunch, skip breaks, and I'm writing essays and trying to make up for all the work that I didn't do. And unfortunately, it still didn't matter. I did not get a chance to walk across stage. And from being the class clown and being popular and being loved by all my friends, I wasn't loved and respected anymore because they're just like, wait, that Kelda Williams girl, the funny chick, she was just as smart as we were, What do you mean she's not walking across the stage? And people were shocked by that because by my personality and who I am, I'm the, last person that you would expect to not walk across stage. Everyone thought I was smart and cool. But no, I was in summer school and I remember the last day of summer school, which was about 6 weeks. Teacher came up to me. It was only me and like six other people in class. Teacher came up to me with a piece of paper and said, "Congratulations, you're off to ninth grade. You're off to high school. Enjoy. Get out of here." So I went to three different high schools. Um, Before we moved back to San Jose, I went to Bayer High School, was doing terrible there. However, the teachers loved me and they wanted to help me. They're like, "I'm offering after school programs, whatever you need." And I'm like, "Ah, no, you'll be all right." I'll catch you next week sometime. But of course, I never went. So eventually moved back to San Jose. I went to Santa Teresa High School, which was pretty much all white kids high school, and there I wasn't popular, and my grades were failing there as well. Um, I used to just hang out by myself and swing around the tree in my corduroy pants and Van shoes and sweatshirt, and it'd be like 100 degrees outside, and I was just really like a little loner, a little rebel. And the principal at the school, who happened to be black, it was a black female. She was the one who had me transferred back to my district. And I remember my mom had a talk with her, like, "Sister, why would you do that when I'm, trying to help my young black girl elevate and do better?" And so the principal was just like, "Cause she's just not doing well here, and it's giving the school a bad reputation to have kids here who are not excelling and doing well." So I went back to Silver Creek High School, reunited with all of my elementary childhood friends. And from there, yeah, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, all horrible. And just to get straight to the point, I had issues in all of my classes. Some of my teachers didn't even speak English, and the school district didn't care because I wasn't understanding, and they still didn't care. They were still like, "Okay, well, every other student knows what they're doing. How come you don't?" And I'm just like, "Well, why isn't someone working with me? She's speaking a whole different language. I can't understand her." and no one cared to really help me. So I was just kind of like, if the teachers don't care, the school doesn't care, the district doesn't care, then I don't care. So once again, I was just attending class just to be in class, just to say I went, so my parents wouldn't get a phone call on their voicemail stating that Kelda Williams missed class today. Because I'm sure that's what they're doing now in schools. If you miss a class, they're going to call your parents and leave a voicemail, right? And this is before you can even get home to get a hold of the voicemail to erase it. So, in a nutshell, 12th grade, I didn't graduate either. I didn't take the high school uh, senior yearbook pictures. I didn't get to go to Disneyland with the rest of the students. I didn't go to prom. I didn't do any of the 12th grade activities. I, once again, was spending time in class trying to make up for all the work that I didn't do for the past 4 years of going to high school. And, just all of my friends that I reunited with, they're like, oh, whoa, you're not graduating? And I'm like, no, no, I am. It's a big if, it's a big maybe if I get this task, this assignment done on time, but no, I won't be joining you guys on the senior trip or anything. And they're just like, who questions about graduating high school, right? That was the thing. Like, it was always a given that everybody's going to graduate high school. And I even told them I didn't even graduate middle school. So, I'm sweating in here. The lights is on. Sorry. So I graduated high school by the skin of my teeth. I remember my dad had another long talk with me when he was dropping me off at school. He was like, look, Kelda, you are a young, black, beautiful woman. You'll have a lot of opportunities ahead of you if you just get your education, and you could be anything you want to be. And I said, yeah, yeah, that's true. But I was still stuck in a mindset where none of that was possible because of my past of being suspended in detentions and just not giving a crap about school. And my dad told me, he was like, look, you don't want to be trying to retire at 60 something years old and, having carpal tunnel or arthritis, but you can't retire because you don't have the means to do it, or the education or the skill set to back you up. You got to still keep flipping burgers at McDonald's or something, or keep working at Great America for the rest of your life. And I was like, no. So I graduated 12th grade by the skin of my teeth. And I remember I had a Chinese English teacher, Mrs. Chen, who would always give me a hard time. She would always tell my mother, I think Kelda's a little off. She just doesn't get it. Her vocabulary is limited. And, the way her mindset is, it's not, on the same level as the rest of the other kids. And I remember my mom was offended, like, what? That's my daughter. Yeah, she's smart like me. So, again, I pulled through and I made my parents proud. I made my family proud. I made my grandma proud, who actually worked for Stanislaus State University and who tried to help me to the best of her ability to help me graduate from high school. And I did. So, um, all of my friends and all the people I knew, everyone went straight to either a UC, a state, or even city college. And with me, once again, I wasn't planning for that. And I was just waking up every day at my parents' house, 18 years old. And I remember both of my parents were like, okay, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and you're just laying here in bed on a Tuesday morning. Like, what do you have to do? Do you have a job? Did you register at City College? And I was like, no. I'm like, but I plan to get on the computer later and look on Craigslist, for a job. And I remember my parents were giving me a hard time. Like, that's not going to work. You need to get out there and go get it. get yourself an education, do something. So I wisened up and I told myself, okay, we all can jump back from any troubles that we had in our past. So I went to three city colleges. I went to De Anza City College, I went to Mission City College, and then I went to Evergreen City College. And I ended up meeting the requirements and getting accepted into University of San Francisco, which is a private college in the city of San Francisco. Not San Francisco State, not San Francisco City College, not UC San Francisco. I got into a private college. And I was just so proud of myself because I really put my mind to it in City College. And I actually got an A for once in English and in math. And uh, I took statistics, and I'm horrible at math. But my teacher said this: if you study with this other smart girl who aced my class every semester, if you study with her for the next 3 weeks and write me an essay on how to pass statistics, I will pass you with a decent grade to get into USF. And I did that, and she gave me a C plus, and I got into USF because of that. And I got myself into USF. I was the one driving back and forth to San Jose, meeting with the counselors, providing them my transcripts, and um, just making sure that I meet all the requirements to get in. So I was so happy. I eventually transferred to University of San Francisco in 2004, majored in mass communications. From there, that's when everything blossomed for Kelda Williams. And that's how I became Kelda Music. I relocated to Oakland to pursue my music career. I produced my first album called Shut Up Listen in 2005. From there, I produced about 7 album projects. I have my own fashion line called Tams, which is my line of berets. They're exclusively on Amazon. I've successfully toured internationally from Tokyo, Caribbean to Switzerland. I have music placements on Real Housewives of Atlanta, Bad Girls Club, Real World, Sony Entertainment, Love and Hip Hop. And I have so much going for myself because I got an education eventually. And for me, building resilience is going or starting where I was as a little Black girl from San Jose, getting bad grades, getting suspended, not being respected by the teachers, purposely, um, you know, being tortured a little bit in some kind of way because I wasn't getting good grades, and everyone belittling me, to me being on top now, to where I'm having all these people from the past contact me and say, "Hey, I remember you in summer school, and I remember that one time when, you walked across the teacher's desk and knocked over all of his coffee mugs and antiques and everything because he gave you a referral to the office," all that stuff. Everyone remembers Kelda Williams as someone who's come a long way. And to see where I am right now with owning 3 businesses, traveling internationally, releasing so many album projects, being in the presence of others who I never thought I would be in the presence of. To me, that's more success than anything. And the reason, again, being is because I took myself seriously in the education world. Yes, it didn't happen until 1920, but it's never too late to take yourself seriously in anything that you want to pursue. My grandmother, actually, she finished her bachelor's and her master's with 5 boys between the ages of 25 and 30. And I remember she told me, look, you could do the same thing and you could pursue anything you want. So, whether it's getting your GED, high school diploma, college degree, or even developing a trade, going to vocational school, getting a certificate. Have a backup plan for yourself. Matter of fact, have a plan for yourself and then have a backup plan. Because let me tell you, right now it's all fun and games. You're under 18 and you get in trouble and say you end up going to a juvenile facility or just getting arrested and getting some marks on your record or whatever. It's going to hurt you in the long run. You're not going to be able to get a job. You're not going to be able to qualify for a car loan to get a nice car. You're not going to be able to get a house. You're not going to be able to raise a family. So think before you take action in anything that's going to get you nowhere. Think about what is going to get you somewhere. And that's where, for me, building resilience is coming from a space mentally where I thought I was going nowhere and I thought life was just Disneyland to coming into a situation now, stepping into a new world where I take my life seriously now. I want to live a good life. I want to pursue any dreams that I have in mind. I want to travel the world. I want to eat the finest foods. I want to get a facial every weekend. I want to have a nice gym set up in my house. You know what I mean? So if you work hard and play hard and take yourself seriously, the best things will come to you. Everyone, I'm Kelda Music. Thank you so much for having me, RCA, and I'm glad I could share my story.
Thank you, Kelda. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, y'all. Give her a hand. Woo, 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 woo. Kelda Music Diva. RCA just collaborated with her nonprofit arm, which is called the Diva Outreach. I believe it's the Diva Outreach. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where we're gonna do our youth mentoring, and we're gonna ask Kelda to focus on the girls while we focus on the boys, and then we're gonna cross collab. I think it's really awesome. So thank you, Kelda, and I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for that technical difficulty earlier. But I think it's good because Denise said, "Hey, people listening in, they trying to figure that out. So let's give them something to hear, all right?" So shout out to all of our RCA members, all of our project directors, all of our RCA mentors who are on these phones throughout the week talking to these individuals incarcerated and trying to help them change their mindset. That's really important because it speaks to our mission and it speaks to our goal about decreasing the recidivism rate. Like we want people to come home, never to go back to prison, and to be citizens. That's why we call ourselves Returning Citizen Association. And again, shout out and thank you for our sponsors, Pittsburgh Youth Development Incorporated, Boss Building Opportunities for Self-Sufficiency. Donald Fraser, he's here. 100 Black Men. Shout out to the president of the local chapter, Reggie Dow. Thank you, brother. And Unity and Capital Gains and R. Bay Merge. These are our sponsors, and we're looking for more. So thank you very much. And shout out to everybody who came here and shared your time, who made a decision with your purchase of a ticket. That's really huge to us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we hope that we give you value for your dollar. A little bit about RCA. RCA is an organization that's focused on reintegration. We have a non-clinical mental health support group that we operate every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. So if you want to get involved with that or you want to find some support with that, drop your email in the chat and then I will send you an email. And the reason why that we're harnessing this technology, because another thing I'm asking you guys to put in your city, not where you live, but put in where you're joining from in the chat so we can show how expensive that we have to be in this technology to reach our people, right? Because our people are all over the place. And I'll put it in my city as well. So I'll just start by saying that our next speaker is going to be Andrea Gaines, who is the treasurer of RCA and the first lady of RCA. Yes, yes, yes. As treasurer, she brings a compassionate commitment to the cause of reintegration with a belief in the power of rehabilitation and community support. Andrea plays a pivotal role in fostering positive change for those returning to society after incarceration. Personally, as a dedicated member for RCA, she provides guidance and support and a listening ear to individuals incarcerated, fostering a sense of purpose and resilience. As a mentor, she aims to instill a sense of responsibility, self worth, and a vision for a brighter future, ensuring that each individual sees the potential for positive change within themselves. She is also a seasoned commercial account executive. Yes, yes, yes. She wears many hats. With over 2 decades of experience in the communication industry, a 10-time President's Club winner, and 7-year consecutive #1 ranked sales professional. And this is important because she keeps us flying across the world. Yeah. Uh, Andrea's success is a testament to her dedication and passion. Alongside her spouse, myself, uh, she co-owns Capital Gains LLC, a publishing company focused on providing a voice to those incarcerated and those marginalized in the community. In every aspect of her work, she exemplifies the value of compassion, resilience, and a belief in the inherent ability of every individual to achieve their dreams and aspirations. In addition to her professional and community endeavors, Andrea is pursuing a degree in human science, showcasing her enduring commitment to personal and academic growth. Beyond her thriving career, she is a loving spouse, my wife, mother of 4, and grandmother of 5. So I can go on and on with my personal stories and my personal anecdotes, but I'll say that for later. This is the love of my life and the treasure of RCA, mentor of RCA, and my best friend. But since I get an intro, now I can tell you how I really feel. You know, this woman right here, I'm so grateful to have this woman by my side, and what we call this battle that we're doing for lives and for souls. I was battling for mine. I spent 24 years in prison, and on the last, I think it was the last. Let's see, I think it was the last 10 years. We reconnected. We dated when we was kids, and she said, and one thing that really got my attention is that I went away when I was a kid. Caught up in this madness, right? I had a juvenile crime, and I think I went away. I think I was about 16 years old, and I went away. And in my mind, it's just natural and normal, like some of our fellas would know. But in her mind, what I found out maybe 15, 20 years later is that was traumatizing. Like, it was very traumatizing to have that disconnect and just like silence, right? So she may tell you a little bit about it, but for me, like, I felt a sense of responsibility to try to do a little bit of healing or something, try to fix that. Because I didn't just leave her, I got snatched out of the city, though, from my bad actions. And when I returned, like, we didn't just pick up where we left off at. I didn't know where she was. She didn't know where I was. And but fast forward, 15, 20, 30 years later, and here we are. And we've been going strong. So I'm very grateful for this woman by my side. Go ahead. Miss Andrea Gaines, the First Lady of RCA and the Treasurer, and a whole lot of other things that she got going on. 20-year executive with the communication department, and she's doing great.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all heard me earlier, but I was just saying, wow, it's an honor to share the platform with Kelda and Denise because I respect these women so much. I have a lot of admiration for them. And then I was saying that I wanted to thank my husband, who's the founder and executive director for Returning Citizens Association, for giving me the opportunity to share my lived experience. I've been a part of a lot of organizations, and this one by far is the best. And I say that because it's like the full embodiment of a philanthropic endeavor. An example would be we have a weekly non-clinical mental health support group that is converted into a podcast. And then even, being able to speak today is something I wouldn't really do, but he's created this platform for all of our members, including myself, to be able to enhance our communication skills and our digital literacy. So it's just huge for all of us all the way around because it stretches us as people. So I'm very grateful and thankful. And I'm also so appreciative to the RC team who is here. And so, what they've done for me personally, it's just been life changing. So I'm very thankful and grateful for it. So I will be sharing my lived experience with resilience as it relates to mental wellness. But before I do want to give a little bit of background of, who I am and where I come from. I do come from a two-parent home. My mom is here. And so initially we're a two-parent home, right? So they do what they need to do to try to work it out. And so at the age of 6, she's done. It's just a done deal. It didn't happen. And she moves to Pittsburgh, California, is where we end up, on 9th Street. It's a great community. Use your imagination because when the nightlife happened, it was popping. Just use your imagination with that one. So then we end up, on Parkside. And that began like my junior high years. And I would have to take the long city bus route to and from school, which is about 40 minutes. So I'm on the bus with high school students. So I was exposed to older kids at a younger age. And this is where I realized how poor we are. I'm in the 6th grade. I do have to give it to my fellow schoolmate, which is Jeremy Abercrombie. May he rest in peace. But he pulled me aside, and said, Andrea, you're wearing the same thing every day or every other day. He's like, you're going to have to work that out. He was like, those were his exact words, that I would need to work it out. Like, you have to do something about that, but you have to work it out. And so I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Because I wasn't really conscious of that as a child. Like, you're 11 years old. Like, you're not thinking about that. But he definitely made me conscious of it. So I didn't do anything about it initially, but eventually, me and my best friend came up with this bright idea to get in the drug game, like everybody else who was around us. It seemed to be like the right thing to do. That's what you see as far as like what's going on, in the town. And so that seemed to be like the right thing to do. But we did reach out to a well-known, respected person in the town. And what he did is he took us to the spot. He broke it all down, showed us, what it would be, how it would work, like what we would need to do. And, I remember thinking like, no, that's not for me, because what it would do is it would have exposed me. It would have like put me on Front Street. So I would have had to have been communicating with people, like being out there on the street, trying to like talk to people. And, I just, that just wasn't for me. Like I couldn't see myself being on the street. Sorry, my thing fell here. Okay, sorry about that. So I couldn't see myself like being on the street like that. So that just wasn't for me. So I thought about it, and I ended up resorting to stealing, but from like the mall and things like that. It wasn't like what people are doing today, the smash and grab. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't that, but we were just like for real poor, so I only took what I needed. And I couldn't take that stuff home. My mom would be like, where did you get this stuff from? So I didn't want to be in trouble. So I remember I had like 3 stash spots. 2 were my older Filipino friends across the street in River Run. These were like 4 or 5 bedroom houses, big houses. But I remember the Filipino community accepted me, and I was really proud about that. Like, I was like, yeah, they messed with me, So, but anyways, I had those 2 girls, and I met them on the bus, so they were older. And then another Black girl who was in Antioch. And so not only did I have my clothes, I had their clothes, like their wardrobe. So I mixed and matched, and it looked like I had much more than what I did, to the point where I was voted best dressed in the yearbook. So I did have this one friend. She was bougie. Her name was Candace. And she came over to spend the night. She was trying to like see what I had. She was trying to be like check out my closet and stuff like that, like the clothes I had. But my closet was empty. You know what I mean? Like she was like, "What the heck? Like, where's your clothes at? You You got all just like every day I'm wearing something new, but I had nothing, nothing there. So she found me out, but later on, because we stayed friends, we looked back at it and we laughed about it. Now, I no way advocate like illegal activity, you know what I mean? But this was a different time, information wasn't ready available. The struggle was real, and we were waiting on that government check every month. We'd be carrying our groceries on the city bus. Sometimes all there was to eat was like tortilla and mayonnaise. You know what I mean? So my mama, she did love me. She was a good mom. She was a single parent, but she did the best that she could with what she had. Um, so some of my best memories do come from that time. I had met and dated my, Ricky, my now husband, during that time, even though he left me like for juvenile jail. So that broke my little heart at the time, because I didn't have a home phone. We were using pagers. I'd page him, go to the payphone, page him. I'd have to go to my aunt's house and wait for him to call. And one day he just never called. So I thought he ghosted me, so, but we'll leave our little love story for another time, you know, but I'm clearly not behaving. I'm not behaving. So my mama sends me to Texas for the summer before I go to the 9th grade. And the first thing I get here to Texas, and the first thing that stands out to me is all my little cousins, they got mama and daddies. Aside from the dirt, you get here, you see that dirt and the dust. But my little cousins, so they were like, they had parents, they had jobs, they were happy little kids. There was no hard hustle like we had back home. It was just family living, old family living, and I knew immediately that I wanted that, but this was also where I met my first husband. His name is Angel, the father of my children. May he rest in peace. And he has since passed away from cancer, so he's not with us no more. But he had a family too. He had a mom, dad, 2 sisters, two cars, dog. They were just a normal family. It was so appealing to me. So we started dating. I was able to get a taste of some of that family living that I was wanting. I didn't want to go home like to California. I did not. So, go home to what though? You know what I mean? Like the crack epidemic destroyed so many families, including my own, So eventually my mom did come, she came to Texas and she got me and we went back home and I was miserable. Now we're on Sycamore Street in Antioch, culture shock, methamphetamines. It's a whole different thing, more California stuff. I didn't want to be here. It was terrible. I was running away. I didn't want to be here. I wasn't following no rules at all but my own. I think I made it through a year and a half of high school. Before I dropped out, I just completely said, forget it. Now my mom has given her life to God. It's time for discipline. It's time for structure. And I didn't want no part of it. You know what I mean? So I was just too far gone at that time. Eventually, years later, I moved to Texas. I still want to be a part of his family because I remember like that family thing. So I'm slowly building myself up. Now it's time for me to get a diploma. So I take the practice test, I pass it. I take the regular test, I pass it. And the instructor told me that I should be proud of myself. She's like, wow, you tested really high for someone who's been out of school for this long. She was like, you should be really proud. So this just made me think about the power of the human spirit, because if we want to do something to get to where we need to get to, like we can do it. So I'm not advocating to take shortcuts in any way, but if you have a setback like I did where I'm a high school dropout, go back and get your GED, or go back and get your degree or finish your degree because it's just so possible, especially if you're trying to get to that next level. But changing my environment was real. That was my launching pad to what I needed to do. But I'm still myself. I'm still not okay. I have this warped California mentality of having to get ahead this selfishness to survive. I had this lack of consideration of others, this sense of this like scarcity, mentality, so to speak. So in dating my first husband, the father of my children, I cheat. Why do I cheat? There's no real reason. Maybe I wanted attention, but it was really that warped thinking that I was mentioning earlier. I'd get caught, he'd forgive me, he'd take me back. But now here's where the abuse happens. Like the abuse starts for me. I'd hurt him, he'd hurt me, he'd pull my hair, call me names. I'd allow it because I felt like I deserved it. You know what I'm saying? And now in looking back, I was abusing myself, because I created that situation. There's a lot of information out there now, where people do things that are familiar to them or they get mates that are familiar to them. So I created it because in growing up, I was abused. So they say you marry your parents or you marry one of your parents. So I did definitely do that. I remember thinking, you're like, I remember thinking that when we were dating, like, hey, you're like my mama, I just remember thinking that. But it took a couple of years, but eventually I corrected myself. There's no cheating. I'm in the church. I'm a sharpshooter, straight shooter, no alcohol, no drugs, we're married. But he continued to pull my hair and curse me out. So I'm plotting to move back. Like I'm going to go to California, but then I get pregnant. And this is like such a blessing. So this is where I kind of start to take my plunge, so to speak. So I'm now pregnant. We're both so happy as being parents. Having a baby was a spiritual experience for me. And I'll save that story for another time. But his mental health issues like start to emerge. Now they're coming out. I didn't see them before. He gets diagnosed with like 3 different disorders, gets medication for all of that. We're young parents trying to figure it out. He was a natural at being a dad. He was so gentle, nurturing, and attentive. And I had this disconnect, stemming from my abuse. So I'm still dealing with that. You're trying to figure that out. So watching them, like that mother, not the mother, but the father-daughter relationship that they had with each other, I never had that. So it was a beautiful thing. And that was enough for me to just, that filled me up enough to stay, to see that happen and to make that sacrifice. So 4 years later, I'm pregnant again with our second daughter. Now I'm starting to see some different kind of changes. Like here's where the drug addiction comes in. I'm thinking like he's on crack or something. Like what's this change in you? But he tells me he's using Oxycontin. And back then that's like a new drug, you know what I mean? So it seemed believable, like the symptoms and what he's doing seems believable. So now we're dealing with that and we're having him like in and out of rehab. And at this point he's a functional addict because he's been a dealer. Like ever since I've met him, he was the seller. So I never thought he would be the customer. You know what I'm saying? His sister would tell me to like look for a needle that I never found. Eventually I caught him in the act, like with my own eyes, like spoon, lighter, the whole thing, cotton, the whole thing. And I was just like, I remember just like being devastated because we cannot compete with synthetics. Like period. It's different if it's like a woman, a bitch or whatever. Like that's something different. But it was synthetic stuff. Like who can compete with that? You know what I'm saying? So, we're dealing with that in my one moment in my life where I question or I go outside myself and I start to question my situation like out loud outside. I remember I'm on the living room floor. The 4-year-old is running around in the background. I have the newborn in the car seat. And I remember thinking, like, why is this happening? I wish none of this had ever happened. And I clearly hear God stopping me and telling me, so do all who live to see such time. But that is not for them to decide. All there is to decide is what you have to do with the time that is given to us. Now, if you're nerdy like me, that's actually a Lord of the Rings quote from them, but it was like God's voice piercing and deafening, like so loud and clear that it snapped me out of that thinking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, He wants to get clean. We're a family. I'm going to do what it does to try to keep it together to help him. We do about 4 more years of that, so through this whole processing, I'm neglected because he's the person with the mental illness. He has a drug addiction. And at the same time, now he didn't pull my hair no more. He's just yapping with the verbal abuse, right? Beating me down with the words. So, I really tried so hard. I did everything I could as a human, like anything a human possibly could to help another individual. I did it. But he didn't quit selling drugs. He didn't quit doing drugs. And he didn't quit being verbally abusive to me. So, we went into this cycle of like detox, being sick, him getting clean. He's okay. Then he relapses again. Repeat, repeat, and repeat. You know what I mean? So at this point, I'm thinking we're in the stage of him being clean. It's good. He's a functional addict. So I'm tricked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm awarded this trip by Stars, right? We're going to Orlando, Florida, Universal Studios. He got all the medications, hydrocodone, you know what I mean? Like Xanax, Seroquel, muscle relaxers. Like there's like 8 medications in this plastic bag being okayed to fly out. You know what I mean? So I'm like, we're equipped, we're good. Man, we get there and he's in the bed sick, right? Because he don't have the needle stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my God. Wow, really? And I know that takes like 4 days, or 5 days for me to get through that to be okay. And we're on this company trip, and I'm like, man, I'm just like, whatever. So, I'm upset, but I'm like resilient, so to speak. So somebody knocks on the door, they roll in the tray. Here comes the champagne bottles on ice with the food and the card, and he's in the bed sick, just being a sick person or whatever. And I'm like, so I do cry. Like I start to drink my champagne by myself and trying to, think how I'm going to work out these rest of these days. And I do cry a little just to let out the frustration about it. You know what I mean? And I open the card and I'm looking at it and it says, "Congratulations, Andrea, you're a winner." And I was like, I'm not a winner. I'm a loser. You know what I'm saying? Because this is some loser shit. So I was really crying about that. You know what I mean? Because and it wasn't like, it was just more like in the moment of letting out my frustration. But man, I was like, at that point, I'm done. I'm like, okay, I don't want, I can't. It's too much, too long. And so here's where my enemy, the devil, tries to take me out. And I stand on my spirituals. I really, really do. Because the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's like a real energy thing. Like that's real. You know what I'm saying? So in trying to carry it all, it's just too much, too long. I've never had to deal with anything like this. You know what I'm saying? This mental health bullshit and this drug addiction, anxiety. I mean, we go to the doctor, it's bipolar, agoraphobia, PSD, all kind of terminology, right? All these medications, and now I'm dealing with drug abuse. So he's the one with the disability and still verbally abusing me though. You know what I'm saying? So it took its toll and I had this panic attack. And so when I had the panic attack, I'm thinking I'm having a heart attack. So I went to the hospital. They said it's a panic attack. And I thought you're stupid. Like they're stupid because I can't breathe. I'm choking. My heart is about to explode. I'm experiencing these physical ailments that are happening, right? So it happened multiple times. They give me medicine. They give me like a sedative, like a Valium to take like as needed. And I remember I didn't like having to be dependent on no medicine, but I did take it because, it was debilitating like at the time. So now my spirit is crying out. I reach out to my dad, but he has his own problems with his wife and he's thinking about himself. So then I start to seek out my childhood best friend, the one who had the bright idea with me to get in the drug game, back in the day. And, it was like I needed to remember who I was before the madness. So in my quest to do that, to find my friend back in the day, I get reconnected with Ricky, and that changed the trajectory of my life. So God sent me, and and again, I stand on my spirituals. God sent me the only human being on the planet that could get through to me at the time, because I was so deep in my stuff. I couldn't see. And so me and Ricky had this unfinished business. I'm like, why did you ghost me back in the day? All them years ago. And I'm curious. So, I'm open to that. But God used Ricky to help me, climb out of that deep, dark hole. He was like a light, like a guiding light. So I couldn't see myself out. So now I'm going through this divorce. I got my kids, this panic attack stuff. There's these outside forces trying to take me out, like I'm saying. Because what happened is I'm having these literal visions. And this is how sneaky the enemy is. These visions. No, they're not thoughts. They're visions of me in a straitjacket in a padded room in a mental institution. Not okay. So these aren't like I'm thinking it. These are like flashed images hitting me randomly. No. So it's just happening in my head, because I know better. Like in my mind, I come from the gutter. Like, we're gonna climb out, we're gonna survive, we're gonna do what it does, right? So I know better. But these images that are coming, it's like flash. But anyways, but what Ricky did is he helped me to see myself, so to speak. Because he's still in prison serving a life sentence with no date to get out. Way in San Quentin. I'm here alone, trying to pick up the pieces of what's left of my family and my girls, So, but Christ's love, Ricky was an example. It saved me kind of, you know what I'm saying? The scripture says that perfect love casts out all fear. So I have to say it. People who have been in the criminal justice system and served time in prison are not defined by their mistakes. So yes, it's important to, face consequences for your wrongdoing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did a consequence, you're serving a sentence for something, but it doesn't mean you should completely count yourselves out, because, Ricky changed the course of my life. And that's an example of the impact of what one person can have on another, So whether you're serving a long sentence or you're free, like us who are out here, some may feel like they don't measure up, but we all possess the ability to positively impact someone else. So regardless of your current situation, whether you're a junior high student who's poor without, clothes and food, or you're at the end of your retirement, a tenured career about to retire, our stories are ongoing and our journey is far from over. So what did I do? I did the work. I tapped into that resilience. I needed to heal and overcome these stanky panic attacks that I was like, they were debilitating and they were real, So the specific things that I did to overcome the panic attacks was I listened to a specific sermon over and over again, like over and over. I just revert to it, hear it, and listen. I joined a ministry group, so this is where healthy relationships, and surrounding yourself with people that will build you up. My freedom people were all older than me, and they poured into me and they embraced me with God's love. It was so beautiful what they did. I found a scripture that applied to me at the moment. God didn't give me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of a sound mind. So and having a panic attack, I'd have to fight through that. So, and I didn't want to take medicine. And I don't advocate against medication, because I know that it's helpful to take it to get you through to the other end. But my goal was to not take it, so I fought through that, in that moment. And, I must have said that scripture 1,000 times, even in the moment of my panic attack. I may have not believed it in the moment. I'd be crying on the floor, like part of me is like, I have to go to the hospital, but God didn't give me a spirit of fear, power, of love, and a sound mind. So I didn't believe it, or, I may have not even understood it, but I just said it out loud because I knew there was power in it. So I just repeated it, and I said it anyways. But what it did is it reprogrammed, my mind. The shift began to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like the shift began to happen. So I did things that were productive, like helping Ricky start the publishing company, Capital Gains LLC, for people who are still in prison, so that helped them and their families. I found out what my triggers were. I learned about boundaries, saying no, even if it's to yourself. So, like, when I would feel the trigger, I knew it was coming out, like, no, no. I just tried to tell myself, no, we're not doing that. Stop it. So that was really helpful too. And I learned the power of the human mind. Like, it's just so powerful, especially when you tap in and you line up with God's word. It took about a year, but I can say that I did it. In my journey of resilience and mental well-being, I'm like living proof of the transformative power that's found within a community of healthy relationships, good people, having faith, and leaning on to God's word, because that was, God's word and God's love. That was really important for me. So in the midst of like all I experienced, I took steps. I emerged stronger. Today I stand before you panic free, violence free, or abuse free, surrounded by a sense of harmony, and being empowered or having empowerment is inside of all of us. Having strength is not just a quality, it's a force, like a force that pushes us forward, helping us to overcome these challenges and achieve our own personal greatness, because it's so possible. So all along that journey, where highlights and lows, even though it was like the deepest, darkest valley ever that I experienced in my life, because after I was panic free, there was still some unforgiveness I had to deal with. It was a slow process to come out of that valley. But in the midst of it, I was still number one in the company. I was still taking my girls on traveling trips. We're still publishing books for those in prison, bringing hopes, to them and their families. I was on the ministry team, speaking blessings over others and helping them towards their healing, and we all have a say-so in shaping the story of our lives. I believe that our thoughts create our reality. We can influence ourselves and tap into the spiritual force that allows us to experience God's blessing. With every choice we make, every choice we take, that kind of sounds like that police song, every breath you take, but that's not what I'm saying. But we can contribute to our own lives, like brush strokes on a canvas. We're holding paintbrush, you know what I mean? The paintbrush. We have that power. There's an Invictus quote, and it's saying, I am the master of my fate, the captain of my soul, right? So we have a say in what is going on in our own lives. So remembering who I was, reconnecting to God, knowing what I stand on, I was able to connect the dots. Like one of our members, Danny, would say, connect the dots. I stand on God's word, his mighty principles. That's where my power lies, and I just had to remember it. You know what I'm saying? I had to remember it. But today, I'm living the dream. When I say your thoughts create your reality, I don't know if y'all just don't know how many times, even when I was married, I thought on Ricky. Why did he ghost me back in the day? But reminiscing on our times, because he was the gentlest, the softest. He gave me, money and jewelry, when I'm young and poor, so he was like the best. But then he ghosted me. So, but anyways, there's so many times I thought on it, like, why do you do that? But then, and be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. No, I'm just playing. I have a loving partner and husband. I finally found a small church, because I've been a part of a big church, but I finally found a small church, which is what has been in my heart, a good church that I'm a part of, and I'm a homeowner. I own my own car. I have a successful career, working in the local communications company. I can publish people's books, which I'm working on one right now. And, we own a merchandise company and we have a podcast. I'm a member of RCA, which I love. I'm a mentor in a mentorship program, mentoring somebody who's going to be released in a year to date. He'll be released in December of 2024, but we're mentoring him. So when he comes out, he's right. He don't go back, you know, and God willing, I'll be traveling outside the country in the next couple of months for some R&R, or is it D&D? I don't know. One of those things, just like some vacation time, and God willing, it's not over. I have so many things that I still aspire for. I want a maid. That's like a goal in my life. I want a maid. Okay. The baby, for listening, give me a maid, then a cook, but a maid. So regardless of where you are in your story, or where you are on the spectrum, our stories are still being written. We are not alone. So embrace resilience, seek harmony within yourself, because the power to shape your mental wellness is within your own hands. So with that, I end.
Awesome, y'all. Let's give her a hand, y'all. Wow. Awesome, Dre. What you doing over here, sister? Good job. Awesome. So yes. I love it. Like she said, we're gonna save our love story for another time because it's deep. It's deep when you think about the I always thought about when I went to prison, I was a young person, I was 18 years old, like I say, caught up in this madness. And like she said, when we was younger, I did something for a couple of years. I think it was 2 years in a row, Christmas or something like that. I had older cousins I grew up with, so they always used to go out and buy their girlfriends or wives or whatever this jewelry. We'd go out to Oakland, the Durant Square, right? So we'd go out. They used to go do that. So I think I was about 14, all right? So I finally said, you know what, take me with you. I was in the bad fast lane, so I had a little money. So I went out there and I bought her a couple of rings and I got her a card. I put some money in the card because they was doing it. And I don't know what to do. I say, oh, well, they doing it. They must be good. I did this thing a couple of times and oh my gosh, I didn't know the effect. I didn't know, yeah, she was happy on my face and stuff like that. But years later, when she told me about the story and about her experience and stuff like that, it really hit me. So I was like, man, I need to correct my stuff, like she was a part of me trying to correct my stuff because I did ghost her, but it wasn't purposefully, So anyway, before we get into our last speaker, let me just say this. If you have any questions, we're going to do a question and answer session. And I want to apologize for that technical difficulties. If anybody have to leave at the time that we plan to leave, which is in about 26 minutes, you can leave. But we want to have this question and answer session because I know you guys may have, and you ladies may have questions for our speakers. So if you have a question, please put it in the chat. I will say save the date because we've been doing this thing since September, I believe, the second Saturday of the month, right? So save the date for January 13th, same time, same place, right? And then we're gonna do it again in February on the second Saturday, which is the 10th. Now, to our esteemed project director, Denise Coleman. Oh my gosh. I say that this sister right here, she reminds me so much of my sister. I had a sister, I have a sister, her name is Rakisha Reed, and she's rest in peace right now. Unfortunately, she was murdered when I first came out of prison, but her fire and her confidence and her level of swag for a woman, right? I love it, and Denise embodies that. I said when I first met her, bring tears to my eyes because I think about my sister. I said, Denise, you are going to be my sister. You remind me of my sister so much. Health field. So that's something that was familiar with me at the time when we met because I was a case manager doing specialty mental health services in San Francisco. And we talk the language, we understand the same things. Now, our experience in RCA is a little bit different because Denise never been to prison. That's a beautiful thing about all these ladies that's on this platform right now. They never been to prison, and we're gonna have a event where it just talks about our effects on our ladies and our families that we've been incarcerated. And like one of our ambassadors say that the women do the time the hardest. I'm curious about that. I want to know because I believe it, but I want to know. So to Denise Coleman. Oh
What's
my
up,
God.
y'all?
Let's get to her slides, y'all. She is a special lady.
Ah,
Very,
Lord.
very special. Okay. That's
I
her
don't
right
know.
there. Denise Coleman. What's up, sister?
I
So
hate you.
she is RCA's project director out of Solano County. It covers like Vallejo, Fairfield. And she's a mother, a sister, and a friend. Denise is a mental health professional, like I said, by day, and she's an RCA mentor multiple nights a week. Like Andrea said, we have this mentorship program, and it's so awesome because we like it's so important for people to change their mindset before they come home. Like, and it's a whole nother story. Denise's journey is one of resilience, strength, and remarkable persistence. She don't stop. She will not stop. And I am so grateful to have her as a member and as a speaker. Denise, it's on you,
All
sister. Take it
right.
away.
Can you see me? Can you see
Welcome.
me? All right. So I'm promoting resilience. Um, if you knew me, you'll know that I'm a mother, sister, daughter. I'm a Black woman. That I love traveling and visiting underground cities. I love people that live underground. That I need tranquility, space, and darkness. That I struggle with the sun. I'm allergic to the sun. And I hate talking to people. I really do. Like, you know, that I dream of living in the woods. My mother lives in the woods. I love the woods. That I am scared if my healing journey fails because I'll die if it fails. Um, that I will surprise you by the things that I say or do. That I want to be remembered for unconditional love because I love everyone. I really do. I might be a little mean, but I love people. So I'm kind of reading from something, so you'll see me going back and forth. So I grew up impacted by the incarceration system because my father was a lifer in Soledad. And he ended up getting out by doing his appeals. And he was in there for weed. So I want you to understand when I see people smoking weed and it's legal today, and to know they gave my father life for selling weed back in the days, that was traumatizing on our family and what we had to go through. And I had to go up there every weekend with my mother. My father's cellmate was he ran the BGF back then. So, we had a lot of comrades around. It was just a lot that my family had to go through, and I couldn't bring people home. So it didn't affect me. I'm gonna keep it real. It wasn't that it affected me because let the doctors tell you it was traumatizing. I had love. I had love from families. I had love going on trips. Um, I call myself from Cali to the booth because I was raised in California, but also in Louisiana. I'm from the south side of Stockton, raised in Hilltop, Richmond. Once we left Stockton, we moved to Richmond. And then from Richmond, when I got kicked out of school in Richmond, the school district, I was having some problems. Like they said with education, I was one of those people that acted the fuck up. I got F minuses. And my mother and them tried to open up one of the first Black schools in Richmond. But of course, after a year, they shut it down because they was Black doing their own thing. And then I ended up moving to San Francisco to my grandmother's. And I was raised in Lakeview at that time. So I ended up going to the rest of my school years in San Francisco, graduated from Balboa High, and then went to San Francisco State. In Louisiana, I think I was impacted the most there because I learned how to be passionate and to learn to live life again. So if you want to bring up this resilience screen, the one that says, "What is resilience?" You see that one? What is resilience? Resilience is the way we bounce back from setbacks. So I'm sorry, Mom. My challenges with being resilient, I had to be resilient from trauma, domestic violence, risky behaviors, addictions to drugs and prostitution, incarceration. I was incarcerated. I committed my first crime, my first felony, I should say, at the age of 14. I had mental health challenges, economic challenges, educational challenges. You, I had the challenges. I was resilient by bouncing back from adversity because these were adversities in my community. I worked through my challenges and I overcame my obstacles. Go ahead and change it to the next one. So I want you to understand this. The facts. This is a fact. Community involvement in education reduces the engagement in risk taking and antisocial behavior. Put that up on the screen for me. So the reason why I want you to understand that because RCA is a community program for offenders. So if they had more community programs for people who are in jail, they would do less time doing risk-taking behaviors. So again, community involvement in education reduces engagement in risk-taking and antisocial behavior. So we have to help people find their way on how to learn. We have to help people love themselves and understand the way they learn, because it's just not about throwing somebody into learning something. We have to learn how to learn. So I built my resilience by I connected with people of similar experiences. So let me kind of explain to you what that looked like for me. I have a mental health illness. So I had to connect with people of similar experiences. So what that meant for me, I had to go find other crazy people to be with. I had to hang out with other crazy people because that's my people. I had to go hang out with other addicts because that's my people. Those are my people. That's who I can relate to. I like going to underground cities because those are my people. That's who I relate to. So I connected with people of similar experiences. I learned wellness strategies. So even though I might be hanging with someone just as crazy as me, we are working on our learned wellness strategies. We're not just hanging around crazy people doing crazy stuff. We still doing stuff. I started to learn to speak my story out loud. So for NAMI, I don't know if you ever heard of NAMI, but NAMI is this place where I used to do in my own voice. So we used to go into the hospitals. And so I started learning to speak my story out loud. So when you speak your story out loud, you learn to heal from the inside. And then you start speaking it over and over again. And then it changes. Um, I had to learn a legal side hustle. So we all have jobs, but we just don't get paid enough. So instead of me always doing a side hustle that made me money that was illegal, I had to learn how to do a legal side hustle. I had to face my past trauma. So the best thing that ever happened to me was getting hooked up with this lady named Dr. Gibson. She ran the Agape Center in Fairfield, California. And to sit down and talk with her about my trauma, I didn't even know I had PTSD. I had domestic violence, yeah, but it was a mutual thing. It was back and forth. We was doing it. He was, at the time I was young, he was fine. I was a free spirit, and he couldn't control me, and I wouldn't let him control me because my father was a pimp and a drug dealer. So why would I let a man control me when I could do things on my own? So he had a hard time, like I wouldn't be led. He wanted to lead me. I couldn't be led, and it was just difficult. So she helped me understand that in this therapy we had, and it's something about the healing of being helped by someone that looks like you. Um, it just didn't work for me working with other people in mental health. They just wanted to put me on medication and forget about me. And I was done with that. So I had to start my self healing spiritual journey. So I went all the way to Africa and I started my spiritual journey and I started learning about stuff. I started learning about myself and even my bad parts. I had to embrace my bad side to be able to grow to a light. You have to embrace your dark side before you can get to the light. If you don't embrace your dark side, you never get to the light. I started engaging in random acts of kindness. I started learning my rights. I got a lawyer. Thank you, Marguerite Lamb. She was this little German lady that was my lawyer in Louisiana. She went hard. You know, they were trying to give me 8 years in jail for a felony. They gave me 2 felonies, but she wouldn't take the case. She wouldn't take no shit. I love her. I love her because she saved my life. Um, I love her. I can't wait to go see her in a couple of weeks in Louisiana. So yeah, that little German lady, she fought for me. And so then I had to learn my rights. And that's something my father always instilled in me. If you don't know anything or take anything away from today, learn your rights. Learn your rights. Learn what you're supposed to do when you get pulled over. Learn how to shut the fuck up. Like for real. Like I don't care how much they tell you, oh, you must have did something wrong if you don't answer. Don't say nothing. Every time you say one word, you have to re-invoke your rights. So learn your rights. Don't say anything, and just tell them you don't trust police. I don't trust them. Um, Either take me to jail or let me go. I want to see a lawyer. Don't answer nothing. And then I started investing in me. So when I started investing in me, I started just investing in my health. So as you see, I was most resilient in the domestic violence, my jail, and my relocation. And then I learned rigid boundaries. Um, so let's get on into rigid boundaries. So in my in my life, I had to end up moving from California to Louisiana. Sorry about that. Um, so we call this the social relocation journey. Everybody they like to tell you that you can't move away from your problems, but you can. You can move away from your problems. It's called social competence. It's a successful social adaptation. So that means when you move somewhere else, you relocate somewhere, and then you get embedded into that environment. So when I moved back to Louisiana, or I moved from Louisiana to Fairfield, California, when I was fighting this case, I had to get relocated to out here to Solano County. I had to learn some new skills. I had 2 felonies, so I couldn't just get a job, and I used to work for the county of San Francisco, so I couldn't get back with the county of Fairfield. But I volunteered so much that they had to finally give me a job because that's what we do. We hustle. So what I did, I had to learn how to hustle with a felony. I had to put myself in front of these people and let them know because they don't give Black people and people with felonies jobs out here. Yeah, I had to do some stuff. Um, but during this social relocation in both areas, I had to detox. I had to not be on any medications. I had to not be on any drugs. I had to learn how to do a 14-day detox because, we're all full of parasites. So, I'm just going to throw that out there. If you haven't done your detox for this year, make sure you do a detox at the end of this year or the beginning of the year because all our foods are killing us. Um, I created my own mental health plan. And what that means is that I had to actually sit down and have a plan that was going to keep me out of jail and out of the hospital or going off on people or maybe doing something I don't want to do to somebody because I have those thoughts. I'm just one of those people that my mind doesn't shut off. And then the ITE, if you've never heard of the ITE, I am the evidence. My plan works because if my plan did not work, I would be in jail and in the hospital or vice versa. So when people say ITE, I'm the evidence. I'm the evidence. I know my plan works because it worked for me. It worked for people I know. It worked. So the risk factors for my plan. Everything that has a good plan, it has some risk factors. Okay, some shit came up for me, but I got rejected a lot. I lost a lot of jobs. I couldn't keep a job. I had trouble focusing. I lost friends. I had severe paranoia, but I've always had paranoia growing up. My father was one of those people that had me watching shadows. So, and this was real stuff. We had to watch the shadows. So in my life, I had paranoia. When I was in the mosque, they always told me I would be tracked the rest of my life. So, yeah, I got some paranoia from that. And I had some depression, anxiety. I had a lot of hate. I still got a lot of hate. I'm not going to even faint the phone. I got a lot of hate. And I fear that sometimes my personality will take over and make me do some things I don't want to do because of that hate. So I have to constantly check my hate. I have to constantly check myself and my coping skills so I don't go out and hurt no one. And I had to make a relapse prevention plan. And I had relationship problems. And I became homeless because nobody don't want to deal with somebody like me. I had to live alone. I can't even live in a relationship. I have some issues. I could stay with you for a few days, but you gotta go after like a few days. Like I can deal with you for a few days, but I have relationship problems. You gotta go after 4 or 5 days, and that's kind of hard to keep a relationship if you're in that type of mindset. So factors that protected my resilience. was education, self-regulation, self-control. I had to learn some self-control. Self-control is what a lot of us do not have. So once you can get that self-control under control, you're a little bit better. I connected to the community. I learned those coping skills that helped me stay afloat. I got good friends like Esmeralda. I'm gonna shout you out real quick because that's my coping skills buddy. That's the person that keeps me on track when I want to go hurt somebody. I created my own harm reduction plan. I stayed authentic to myself because I can't change who I am. I am the way I am because of the way I was raised and the people that I know. So when you know who you are, even my dark side, I have a dark side, so I have to keep it in check. I invoked my spiritual side of healing and I stayed busy and I made family first. Family had to become first because when I didn't have family first, I would be running out into the streets all the time. So now my family is first. And I'm going to try to keep this quick, but if you can bring up this last slide, because I really need people to understand what support strategies are. So for my support strategies, I serve on this board. It's called the Mental Health Advisory Board, but at the beginning of the year, they're changing the name to Behavioral Health Advisory Board. We give ideals to the Board of Supervisors. They take it and vote on it, and then they send it to the state. So this is a good board to be on because it helps you get programs into your community. I joined RCA. I'm also a member of the National Council of Negro Women. So that's what you call community support. That's how you stay well. It's like the 8 dimensions of wellness. You have to do something in all these aspects in your life to stay well. For my addiction, because I have addiction issues, I have an addictive behavior disorder. I become addicted to anything that I do. I might become addicted to a man for one night, and then I'm addicted for a week, and then he got to go. It's part of that addiction. But for that, I went to MedMark. I went to NA meetings. I really couldn't do NA meetings, brought up too much anxiety. I identified resource programs in my community. I called 211. If you don't know what 211, 211 is a phone number you can call like 411 to find out resources in your community. It's in the Bay Area. I went to the local library to find out the programs. Every community has a workforce investment board. So get with your workforce investment board so you can find out what resources they have in that community, or you can do they'll help you get a job. As for employment, I also went to the state rehabilitation program. That's in every state too. That helps people get a job. So if you're getting out of jail or been in jail for a long time, you can qualify for Social Security, or you can go through the state rehabilitation program after you get a doctor because you're dealing with some trauma or some anxiety when you get out. And these are the things that I did. Vitamin D, I had to get up on my vitamin D because I'm allergic to the sun. And vitamin D is big. If you are low vitamin D, it plays on your depression. So it's a whole bunch of studies out there to talk about. You have to take, they have a lot of studies that if you're low vitamin D, you're more likely to be depressed. So make sure you do a nutritional take to check your blood levels. Um, and I'm just going to keep it. I'm not going to talk too much because I think we did a lot about the employment, how I healed myself, employment. I laughed more. I started volunteering. I became a coordinator. I ran groups. I learned facilitating skills. I did the fuck it factor. That's the biggest thing I've done. I used to go to the gym, not anymore, but I used to. And then I started like doing little film projects. It was like a healing thing for me. I started doing video clips because those are the things I used to do to stay well. And I just got involved in my community. Go ahead to the next one. But the fuck it factor is real. What the fuck it factor does for me, because I told somebody to fuck it in a minute, it removed my fears. It destroyed my negative feelings. It helped me remove unhelpful thoughts. It validated my own feelings. I validate myself. It gave me the okay to trust my gut. If your gut is telling you not to do something, it's okay to say no. You have to learn how to say no. I had to learn how to say no because I was saying yes to everything. I monitored my drug use, and then I started having more positive feelings, helpful thoughts. I was open to constructive criticism. This is very important. It's important to be open to constructive criticism. Don't just take criticism by somebody that just want to give you some bad advice. It has to be constructive. And with every constructive criticism comes some good stuff too. So they tell you about the good things you're doing, and they might tell you some things you need to work on. So that's the way, that's constructive criticism. I learned about certain herbs that help you heal, especially with COVID going around. If you do not know the TB herb store in Fairfield, it's a place. Make sure you get them cooties be gone because the COVID's going back around again. And I kid you not, her cooties be gone. Mixture is the bomb. Like it really knocks that COVID out. I got really sick with COVID, and I swear by it all the time now. And I allowed space and time for healing. And so I'm just gonna kind of like end everything because I know we're running out of town. Let me just kind of go through, but I just want everybody to remember where I am now. I worked on finding my purpose. I'm an independent mother. I started recognizing the strengths in myself and other people. I embrace my passions. You have to embrace your passions to really be focused on them. I focus on healthy hobbies now instead of like the negative hobbies. I try to focus on some healthy stuff. I'm a member of RCA, a member of behavioral health. I got my expungement. RCA did that because I started my expungement years ago and nobody would return my letters. So RCA got me the courage to go ahead and get my expungement started again. And now I got my own business, Coleman for Life. I'm building my own business, and I'm loving myself more every day. So seeking recovery promotes connections and it inspires hope. So I hope that helps someone. I know I went through that fast. We had a lot of things going on today, so I just wanted to run through that kind of fast, and I hope you learned something from it. So thank you for having me, Ricky. I'm looking all to the side. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. But thank you, Ricky. Thank you for having me. That's it. That's all I got for y'all today.
Wow, that's awesome, y'all. Let's give her a hand.
Hey.
Wow, Denise.
I went through that
Denise
kind
is
of
a shy
fast,
one,
huh?
y'all. It's
Did
so
we make
crazy
it to
how
4
she's a
o'clock?
shy
Right
one.
on the
And
dot.
like,
Right on the dot. Dang.
y'all see her, professional, PowerPoint. We could have went on for another 20 minutes though, because she still got more slides to tell us some more. Let's give us some more games, some more tips, and some more strategies of how to use this as resilience to overcome our stuff and to thrive, y'all. Harmony within mental wellness. That's what it's all about today. So, any questions? Are we gonna open this up? Like, what y'all think about this? Act 5? No, it's Act 4. Act 4. Oh, we done put together 4 of these things, y'all. And we ain't stopping. Say the date, January 13th. Act 5 is on the way, for sure.
That was awesome. Okay, I said that was awesome. I got a little bit of everything from each one of the ladies. Kelda, that was amazing. You left me with the message. No matter how old you are, you could go back to school and get yours. You can get your degree. You can do
That's right.
anything. So that
Yes,
really
ma'am.
motivates me because I'm contemplating now going back to school. I mean, I'm gonna go, but they say procrastination is the biggest nation. So you just
Right.
gave me the motivation to go back to school. So thank you for that. And Andrea, you killed it, girl.
Did you get my tears?
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
there.
Yeah, girl. I didn't know you was trying to grind back in the day.
Girl, but you know what though? I couldn't see myself doing it because I'd be out. I wanted to be hidden. I didn't want no one to know how I was moving.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
survival of the fittest. I tried that too, but I'm like, this ain't my thing. I gotta go in the banks. And Denise, you got so much game that you just gave me so much free game that your story was awesome, and I know if it didn't help anybody, it helped me.
Thank you, Nina. Appreciate
it. Yeah, that was good, you guys.
Yes, thank you so much.
I did have a question real quick. Who was that? Damn it. Oh, Denise, you said that you still hate people. Like, what do you mean? Like, far as what? What do you hate?
Oh, my mind don't shut off. Andrea's been working with me on trying to learn how to say forgiving things, and Andrea's always like, sometimes you have that hate in your heart,
Mm-hmm.
and when I had those 2 felonies on me before the expungement, I couldn't react on hate. So people would be really
Right.
playing me real close, like they would be playing with me. And I was like, if I ain't had that, you just don't know, But no, like, and that hate really grows deep. Like it really takes over you. And I remember Andrea calling me talking, on how to forgive. And it's been
Yeah.
really hard for me to forgive people. So getting into that place to forgive, I'm really trying to learn how to forgive. And then I just had to like really embrace the fuck it factor. Like I really had to like, man, fuck that mom. Like really be fuck that, because I can't deal
Mm-hmm.
with them because that hate just made me ugly.
Yeah, just just pray about it. Don't just pray about it. I'm telling you, your heart will feel much better once you get once you can forgive people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you know
Kelda,
that I'm gonna tell you that when Ricky was in prison, I got mad about something. I don't even remember it was fucked up. But I was mad and I was angry. And then before I could heal off that, something else happened. And something else happened. And so what happened is I caught myself at that place. You know what I'm saying? So I had to be like, okay, I know better. So I had to go outside. I listened to this mystic guru. Sadhguru is his name. He's a mystic or whatever, right? But he like explained it to me in a way that clicked. Was like it's almost where it becomes mental health because you spiral. And what will happen is it's like you will cross that line and you're crazy. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like to keep it going and to keep spiraling in that path, you can get like cray cray, right? And that was like, okay, well, for shit, fuck it. So like, okay, God, just like you say, the fuck it factor, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, fuck
yeah. Gotta do something.
Yeah.
Come on, Marcus.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
Chime in,
it.
brother. Let's go. The ladies gonna get us.
Man, I get to see my sisters doing their thing. I'm always happy. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's like Denise, that's our that's our the facts. It's facts when they come up out of her mouth. Point blank period. And she's gonna send you where you need to go and understand me to get the help that you need. She's gonna tell you the story at the same time. She's gonna direct you exactly where you need to go to get what you need in order to make you better. And like Andrea just said, the end result is like, okay, people say, you have to stay in your comfort zone. What keeps you sane to be able to do what you do? And for Denise, that's why it's always been like, that's my sister too. You know what I mean? I'm like, 'cause for sure we would the fucking factor was keep us straight. As far as like, man, I ain't got time for all that. I'm gonna keep pushing. You know what I mean? Because I know if I dig into it, it's gonna be a problem. So that's where we come with that. But just to be able to listen to the 3 sisters, be able to tell their story, it allows me to see that the journey affects everybody. You know what I mean? That journey affects everybody. And be able to speak your truth and speak your piece about it is a lot of women don't have that opportunity or don't want to expose themselves because, as we know, this is a non-forgiving society and women are non-forgiving. I'm going to keep it 1,000. Women are the biggest haters on earth. They be hating on each other on so many levels. Like, I don't even know her. I just met her yesterday. I don't even like her shoes. She ain't cool. You know what I mean? Just weird shit. You know what I mean? But it's like, but they also are the strongest ones that will take the opportunity to be able to better themselves. Men have never and will never, ever, ever, ever be able to do the things that women do because they taken care of just like most women, they ain't got a baby. To take the time myself to give up everything I got to do to make sure this baby good. Men are so selfish, man. Like, man, that's why niggas will run off and be like, hey, man, they worried about themselves. They're going to do what they got to do in order to keep their sanity. Women is always about the next person. That's just who they is. And us being better husbands that allow us to start thinking about other people. And just for me to be able to hear the stories, I hear, I'm watching all all the movements on the screen, off the screen, and it's just that to see that, okay, well, I didn't take this step that you took to get such and such, but my life turned out this way. You know what I mean? But I know if I would have took this step, I would have got to my journey a little better. But this is the journey that God planned for me, and I had to go this route. You know what I mean? Yeah. Somebody else's story is totally different. Andrea, you know what I mean? She couldn't be the dope dealer. She wanted to be she didn't want to be the regular dope dealer on the corner. She wanted to be the man in the back, like, yeah, I got it, but don't nobody know I got it. You know what I mean? But she like, yeah, it takes too much work to get all the way there. I'm cool. You know what I mean?
Right. Talk about this. Did you hear she say she got best dressed in junior high with them schools? And she got how do you get best dressed?
Hey,
2
man,
years,
making
the
it work.
7th and the 8th grade. That motherfucker told me, you wearing this, you gotta do something about it. You gotta work that shit. He told me you gotta work that shit out. You wearing the same shit every day. I was like, okay, 7th grade, 8th grade, yeah, best dressed.
Yeah, man, but it's the things you say. It's the life itself will put you in situations where as though you make different choices. It's always somebody on the outside look and say you should have did this or you should have did that, but you don't know my life. You know what I mean? And God has allowed us to get to this point where we at right now to this day to be able to share these opportunities, these levels of growth that we done took place, and for us to have our own platform to rate to, hey man, we're gonna share this with somebody else because I know all of us is totally different in many aspects, but we got one connection is that we want to help and we want to continue to keep the growth that we got amongst ourselves as to be better people. You know what I mean? And like Andrea and I met my wife before my journey when I wasn't done my joke. When I first seen her, my brother was married to her cousin. And I'm the cat. I'm doing what I do. I get rated on some 2 brick shit. And I happened to see her. She was in my driveway fixing on my car for her cousin because my brother's in jail. I'm going to send him a car. Like, okay, you need to go visit him. I got a whip for you. Go see my brother. I meet my wife. I see her. She hair all the way down to her legs. I'm like, she looked like a straight Pisces, but I don't pay no attention to her. I'm on the move. I got to go bust a move. For sure, I go bust a move. Whoop. Her sister her cousin told me and raided my house. That was the first time I ever seen him. You know what I mean? And then fast forward, like 15 years later, you know what I mean? And we end up running into each other, and we've been married 27 years. You know what I mean? But that person has allowed me to start being responsible. I ain't never been responsible in my life. So these tit and tats that we have on this on our podcast, it allows me to continue to be growth as a person and as a husband. And my wife sees it. You know what I mean? And it's like, you always have your weird ass moments and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it's just life. You know what I mean? As far as you just two grown people just continue to try to elevate themselves. That's what it is. But for y'all 3, I want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. You know what I mean? And y'all gave the people what they needed, and it's in the archives now. You know what I mean? And Denise, what you did was though you just everything and every organization you just put them on the map for eternity because you could pull up certain words and what you said, it's going to pop up. Here's a video about such and such. Whoop. Next, it's RCA. Whoop. It's right there. RCA pushing, but you don't want to talk about, mental health, such and such. You can go to this program. You can go to that program. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's beautiful. You know what I mean? But I just want to say thank you, guys.
I forgot to say dial 811. She said it.
Yeah. 211. She said 211.
Oh, but that's 211. Okay, 211. There we go.
I don't know if they have it in Texas, but California.
They do. 211 is a suicidal hotline for everybody.
They got them numbers, but just think about how Denise presented. And like it's like pulling teeth for Denise to do that. And she's so like.
Yeah, I should have practiced. And I have to say, Ricky was really trying to get us to practice, but I just didn't have the time. And I want you guys to know something. Kelda is one of the people, she met me when I was not in a mentally well way. And she would pull me on this little film project. Didn't even know me, you know what I'm saying? To keep me busy. And I won't never forget when she put this tour together. Remember we were trying to do the hip hop with disabilities?
Oh, yep.
Because I was like, we all crazy. We all got some disabilities going. I had never felt more accepted in my life when she was doing that. She was doing it. Who was you doing it with? Kafani.
Yeah.
And Kelda like really brought me around some special women that we all had some struggles. So she didn't give herself enough toots she didn't talk enough about the women that she impacts and how she impacted so many women on the Diva Talk show. And so maybe on her next share, she can share about the impact that she's had on women in the community and how to bring them out of that darkness, like for real. So everything you guys are doing, I really appreciate everybody that's been on my journey, and Esmeralda and everybody, and Ricky. So thank you, man, and the people in the group, like Nina, like man, y'all had came in and did. I was like, I don't know how they did this. I don't know how y'all did this. I'm gonna be honest.
Thank you, Denise. You did it. Hey, watch when you see the tape that Denise, that presentation. Let me see that next slide. And woo, 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 woo. Did y'all see that? That's that professional. That's that mental health professional in her, though. You know, and then the lived experiences, though. She say,
Yeah.
I am the proof, or something. I am the evidence.
ITE. Yeah, ITE. I am the evidence. I am the
Boy,
evidence.
don't play with me.
Evidence.
I'm the evidence. We just the evidence right here.
Yeah, that's what they taught us. They taught Esmeralda and I that, like, you are the ITE. So ever since they told me that, I be putting that behind my initial. They be like, what's ITE? I am the evidence. That is my college. That's my college initials. ITE. You know.
Right, thank you, Denise. You did great.
Yes, lovely, Denise, Andrea. You guys were amazing. Very influential, inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. You did great too.
I liked what you said. I liked you talking about your family, and you're like, I'm too cute to be in school.
Right.
Like, I know this at a young age. I'm just going to be in the entertainment industry.
Right. There you go.
Hey, look, all I can do is mirror the cute girls that we went to school with, Marcus. All I can do is Jesse go, Kurt. All I do is mirror them. That they had good families and stuff. And we was like, man, we corrupted them, man. But thank God she got back on track. I was telling my wife, I say, Kelda, I say, lucky, you know, that back then the girls get pregnant and that would take them off that track and they stay off the track, right? Because they got to take care of their babies now. Even with Dre, when she talked about the stuff she was going through, y'all don't know to understand, like, she continued to be the one that provided. She continued to be the one that makes sure that the babies had stuff and a roof over their head, no matter what kind of mess. That's the women for us, though. You know what I'm saying? That's the women, y'all. So that's why this is important. It's so many Jews come out of this, and then in 30 minutes, you can't tell your whole story. So best believe when we go through our rounds, y'all coming back, and we're going to have another session of this, though. But Donald, you have anything to say? Or Kurt, you have anything to say? Any questions, comments? Or Dre, you as well? Before we go.
I'm good, Brother Ricky. I'm good, man. It's good to be here, man. Just to hear everybody, whatever everybody had to say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for spending your time and being a sponsor of this event. We're gonna tap back into you because we want to keep it going, man. We got Act 5 going on. Here you go, Mark. Did I say we got Act 5 going on January 13th, same time, same place. And then we got Act 6. Act 6, we want to introduce a hybrid version. We got 3 locations already. We got 2 locations locked down already, one in Los Angeles, one in El Sobrante. We want to add another location. If he get on the platform, we'll be on the university doing this, y'all. Huh? And in Los Angeles and in the Bay. So, we're going to talk to you, Donald, about that kind of stuff. And Kurt, what about you, brother?
Oh, I'm good. All I gotta say is I appreciate all the women's story, and it was beautiful. But I do got one question for each woman to answer, because I think we left off with Chantel without answering that question. We let everybody, tell their story, and it's like a happy moment. But seriously, I know you guys told your stories and what you guys going through, but is anybody going through anything right now that they're willing to talk about, or any kind of question y'all need help with? Either tap us offline or something like that, because it's one thing to prepare something and say it, but then we all, even me, we all deal with something that's internal. And so if you don't feel comfortable with saying it like right now, at least reach out to somebody in the group, because seriously, we all here. I know I am. I know everybody. You can get my number from Rick or whoever, but I'm a good ear and I'll listen or whatever. But that's my main question. If you got something to talk about now that you think that somebody can give you an answer to, go ahead and spit it out there. And if you want to do it in private, that's fine too. Talk to Rick, talk to me, or anybody like that. But I'm definitely open to hear that. So if y'all got something to talk about, just hit me up. Whether it's text, whether it's a phone call, if you feel comfortable, because some people don't like talk like that. Whether you can call me or you can text me and I can text you back something, or email or something like that, just reach out to me, and then I can just share what I got with you too. But it's beautiful that everybody can get on here and share with their journeys that they go through. But we know we all got stuff under the surface. You see what I'm saying? I I just don't want us to leave with the same thing we left with Chantel, because obviously we should have asked her.
Thank you so much.
that's
Hold on.
beautiful.
Thank you so much. That's RCA. Return to Citizen Resource Alert. Return to Citizen Resource Alert. Mental health.
Hey.
That's the RCA right there. And that's my cousin. He always brings us back to our who we are. A non-clinical mental health support group. That is the who we are every week.
Amen.
And we got this stuff going on, but somebody got to be saying, hold on, wait a minute. Stop. I want to talk about this. And let's talk about it. Go ahead, Drew. I'm sorry. Thank you, brother.
Yes,
I
sir.
was just going to say, Chantel came on as a speaker last month. She was, very powerful, inspirational. So to, hear what happened to her taking her own life, like that's devastating. And so you have to, like, part of you is like, okay, I don't believe it. You rationalize it in your head. Me as a woman, relationships, I think, okay, it had to have been like a heightened emotional thing, or in that moment, she tweaked or something, so nothing like, but it's just hard. But I could say for me, what I deal, but thank you, Kurt, for bringing us back, because she was our speaker last month, and she came in here and delivered powerfully, and, and then she's not here with us anymore, so thank you for sharing that. But I could say for myself, what I could ask, or what I am struggling with right now, is time management. Like, say, just time management.
You join the party.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, the clock shows this many hours. So that's really all, because, I work a 9 to 5, and then, it's my daughter's senior year. We have, RCA stuff. So just maybe time management would probably be something that I know that I'm dealing with. And I do have to end up saying, okay, you know what? I'll tell myself that I'll watch a comedy is what I'll do, because I'm frustrated, because I'm out of time, and it's okay. It's time to sleep. I need sleep. I know that if I go to bed early and I wake up early, I'll feel better. Not staying up late to do things, because I'm in school too. You know what I'm saying? So it's finals week, like semester's about to be over, and all this different stuff. But what I'll do is I'll tell myself, just shut it down, go to bed, and just, tomorrow's another day. But I do get frustrated with the time.
So
I feel like I run out of time on shit.
With that being said, like, if you have things, you can delegate some things to me, especially if it has to deal with RCA. If it's something that you're dealing with, go ahead and delegate those responsibilities to me. You can send me a text or email, and I'll take that off your plate, and I can do what I can in that type of aspect. So that's I'm extending that offer as well. And that's to anybody else. If you got something that you can do.
Yeah. RCA Resource Alert. Oh, shucks, y'all. We got bodies over here. That's awesome. Go ahead, brother. That's awesome, man. Thank you, Kurt, for bringing that up, man, but I got to be conscious of y'all time.
You look at something so long, sometimes you want to put it down and just pick up something else. And I understand what she's talking about. I do the same thing. You can look at it and be like, I'm tired of doing this. I want to do something else. So you'll put that down and go do something else. But if it's something that's like, especially time sensitive or something, you want to get that done, pass it on. Show me how much you done put into work and show me what to do. And then I'll go from there. I'll pick it up. No problem.
Yes. Well, we gonna wait. Kurt is part of Act 5. We're not going to bury him down with this too much RCA work behind his speech. So it's important for us to, if we want to continue to do with the things that we do, and then like to expand and to reach more people, then we got to use like our networks and our skills and our strategies. But who better to do it than, RCA kind of people though, right? Who she say I was going to hustle, but I wasn't going to work. She went this way. Lucky your butt didn't get caught. Thank you so much. I enjoy hearing the stories, and even when I'm involved in the story, it just makes me think about things differently, though.
No, I think I didn't get caught because it was white privilege. Because I actually did get caught with a white girl at Got Shocks at the mall in Antioch, and they had just instilled a new security system. So they caught us. And they showed us their new security system, and they go to all your little friends who are still in that. They had security cameras in the mannequins and all that stuff. So they let us go with a warning. But I could have easily been arrested and got a record. You know what I'm saying? But She had blonde hair and blue eyes. So maybe that was it. I don't know.
I just want
Maybe
to
it wasn't it.
piggyback
I don't know.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I tell her that all the time, though. I say white privilege because, you know, she can go do something and say, oh, I forgot this, or I didn't bring that, or something like that. They be like, pass it through. I say, white privilege. I say, you know what? You go talk to the people. Talk to the people. Get through the door. We get through the door. Go ahead, Lida. We're going to close,
I
y'all.
just want to piggyback on what Kurt said. Kurt, that was so on point what you said. You know, like people be having shit going on that, you know, behind closed doors that we don't know about. You know
Yes,
what
ma'am.
I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And you people be going through it. Shit. I'm telling you, because I'm one of them people. But you know, resilience. You know, I get back off, fall off, and get back up. But yeah, I'm so. I mean, I hate that we didn't get to talk with her more because she was so knowledgeable and everything. I really hate that. Do anybody know how she took her life?
No, we
Yeah,
heard,
she shot herself.
shut herself. Yeah, so
What?
we really want to make sure that we can tap into each other, though, that we stay tapped into each other, because
Right.
that's something that you wouldn't like for us. None of us would think that we got to ask her that. Like, none of us would think you gotta, oh, is you okay? She the professional, bruh. I mean, sister, you know what I'm saying? That messing me up. I'm still in shock. Cause she the
But that's who it be most of the time. That's who it be. You know, they be having a lot of shit on their plate. Sometimes you gotta relieve some of that shit you got on your plate. Like it's overwhelming sometimes.
Now we know, but I promise before that, I would think that they got the mechanisms, that they know how to do stuff, because she always say her main thing is say, find somebody you can talk to. And don't talk to somebody you can't talk to. Y'all know how she be talking, this old Brooklyn stuff. Like she just, you know, and I hate when experts be like, they got all the answers, because I know they don't. We all know nobody got all the answers. Nobody got all the answers, y'all. Come on.
Right.
But I think that that's really messed us up by her being a professional and how she spoke so highly, and then she had her points down. Man, look, that video got the most views out of all our videos, and because it's so like it's a I think it's a spiritual thing, like the way she came to us, the way we want who we are, and like way we finna carry that message on about. I'm gonna tell you right now, the next speakers, everybody that's speaking, we're not just telling stories for ourselves no more. We're not just telling stories for ourselves no more, y'all. Because like most of us, okay, even though we got our stuff going on, y'all okay. We telling our stories, like Chantel said, we going to the next level about telling stories to heal somebody else. So that's really important to me, and I want to try to develop that. And with that, that's my last words. I thank you. Act 4 is in the books.